It's not like he's just sort of out there.
It's unfortunate that Austin Reeves got hurt and Luka got hurt.
Yeah, but no, I haven't talked to him since the season ended.
Adam Silver's empire is shaking, folks. Behind the scenes, the king just put pen to something that was not on the commissioner's desk, and the league office is feeling every single tremor. Yacht meetings in Saint-Tropez, a Serbian super agent pulling strings, billion-dollar whispers echoing through Europe, and the commissioner's tie just got a whole lot tighter. The Lakers deal and the Serbian connection. LeBron James is sitting on a $52,627,153 paycheck from the Los Angeles Lakers for the 2025-26 season. And that paycheck is the final line item on his current contract. Back in June of 2025, the King exercised his $52.6 million player option. Agent Rich Paul pulled the trigger, Clutch Sports made it official, and just like that, LeBron locked himself in for a 23rd NBA season that nobody in the history of this beautiful game has ever reached. When the final buzzer sounds on the current campaign, Bron walks into the summer of 2026 as a full, unrestricted free agent. No player option, no team option, no safety net, nothing but the open market staring him dead in the face. And listen to me carefully, because this is where the chessboard gets interesting. The Lakers own his bird rights. That means they can offer him the max, somewhere around $59.5 million or more, depending on where the salary cap lands, without a hard cap headache that every other team in this league would face. But insiders are telling the public the Lakers are the front runner by a wide degree, and a full max check would absolutely strangle the Lakers' ability to build around Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, Jackson Hayes, and whoever else they need to re-sign. So now the league is hearing whispers about a Cavs reunion for a sentimental final chapter, a Warriors pivot for a ring chase, a Knicks run, or the mid-level exception route at around $15 million for a true contender. Everything is on the table, and the table is getting crowded. Now pump the brakes, because while Lakerland has been processing its own drama, there is another operation cooking across the Atlantic that has the NBA front office taking notes at full speed. I am talking about Project B. This is a global, tournament-style professional basketball league co-founded by former Facebook and Google executive Grady Burnett and Skype co-founder Jeff Prentice. Women's inaugural season drops November 2026 through April 2027. Men's plans are stacked right behind it. Formula One-style touring tournaments, free YouTube streaming worldwide, multi-million-dollar salaries plus equity stakes for every player on the roster. 6 teams, 11 players apiece, and stops already announced in Tokyo and Valencia with more cities on deck. And the connective tissue between Project B and the king himself, Maverick Carter. LeBron's lifelong business partner, the CEO of Spring Hill Company, the man who has been in Bron's corner since they were teenagers in Akron. Carter consulted on Project B early in 2025, stepped away in the fall when the league pivoted toward its women's side, then rejoined in March 2026 as an advisor and board director specifically to help with men's recruitment. His spokesman insists Maverick is a friend and advisor to co-founder Grady Burnett with no formal executive role. But when has Maverick Carter ever moved without LeBron's empire watching every single step? Now enter Misko Rajnatovic, Serbian super agent, represents Nikola Jokic, represents half of EuroLeague's elite, and the man has more juice in European basketball than most federation presidents. And this was exactly the guy the Project B investor group brought in as a consultant. Back in July of 2025, a photograph surfaced of LeBron James, Maverick Carter, and Misko sitting on a yacht in Saint-Tropez. And when that picture dropped on social media, every basketball reporter on the planet started typing. Misko himself addressed the operation on the record.
Project B is very ambitious and completely different from everything what we seen until now.
Completely different. Those are the super agent's own words. And this is the man who pulled up to that yacht meeting after the investor group told him the project needed his European expertise. On Serbian podcast 6.75 Range, Misko described the whole setup, classic business, a group of investors looking to build something with what he called European flavor, a league that would, in his own framing, compete with the NBA. His exact words on the structure:
This is a revolution, because for the first time, players would not play for the clubs.
Players do not play for clubs. Players play for the league itself. Equity, salaries, touring circuit, the whole operation flipping the traditional sports business model upside down. And Misko did not stop there.
Players will play for the league, and it's like really different.
Really different. That is the framing coming straight from the super agent sitting on the consultant's seat. And when the investor group reached out to him, their instructions were blunt. Per Misko's own telling, he spoke with Maverick Carter multiple times, got an official role as a consultant, and Maverick said it would be best to meet for lunch on a boat where LeBron would also attend. At the Front Office Sports Tuned In Summit, the commissioner called Maverick Carter a friend, acknowledged awareness of Project B's ambitions, and dropped a line that sounded measured on the surface but carried real weight. To the extent they're looking to do something competitive, I've stayed away. Obviously, that's their right, if they choose to form a league. I know firsthand it's not easy running a league, but competition is good. It keeps everyone on our toes. Competition is good. That is the commissioner's framing. But let me tell you something, folks. When the most powerful sports commissioner in American team sports feels the need to publicly say competition is good, that is not a man relaxing in his corner office. That is a man watching the perimeter of his global operation get tested by the wealthiest basketball figure on the planet and one of the most influential agents in Europe. Now pivot to Silver on LeBron himself. The commissioner has repeatedly said he is not prepared for a post-LeBron era in the NBA. Heading into the 2025-26 season, Silver downplayed the sciatica that delayed LeBron's debut, said he does not see Bron as an old guy, and expressed hope that LeBron, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant keep performing at the highest level. On the 2026 All-Star Game situation, where LeBron did not earn a starting nod for the first time in over 2 decades, Silver kept the tone professional and refused to weigh in on contract specifics, retirement timelines, or any of the noise circling the Kings' future. The commissioner is playing the long game, and he is keeping LeBron central to every league conversation he can. Meanwhile, the NBA's own European operation is in full motion. The league is partnering with FIBA on NBA Europe, targeting a 2027 or 2028 launch, and Silver is putting his fingerprints all over the planet. A 2027 start is ambitious, he has admitted, but he does not want to go much longer than 2028. The commissioner broke down the math himself.
About 15% of our league now is made up of European players.
15% of the NBA and climbing every single draft class. Silver wants NBA Europe structured with balanced competition, not a top-heavy soccer-style model where 3 teams win everything. And at the March 2026 owners meeting, the commissioner laid out the collaboration piece.
I think for the betterment of European basketball, the best outcome would be if we came together with the EuroLeague here.
Coming together, that is the word. Meetings have already happened with Real Madrid, Barcelona, and PSG. Regular season games are penciled in for Manchester, Paris, and Berlin across 2027 and 2028. But while Silver is drafting NBA Europe's blueprint in public, the private touring circuit Maverick Carter is helping build on the side keeps eating space in every headline. And the whole operation circles back to one question nobody is ready to answer. When the king finally walks away from the hardwood, where does his empire actually land next? LeBron's Vegas ownership plan hits a wall. Strap in, because LeBron James has been telegraphing his ownership dream to anyone who would listen for the better part of the last decade, and the way the whole thing crumbled in March of 2026 is a story worth telling in full. Rewind the clock to August 17th, 2016. LeBron sits down on his own uninterrupted podcast Open Run and drops the quote that started it all. His dream is to actually own a team. That was the genesis. A year later, in 2017, Bron told The Athletic owning a team would be cool. Same reason, staying part of the game and putting people in positions of power. Then at All-Star Media Availability in 2019, he got locked in with a line nobody in the commissioner's office could ignore. Ain't no maybe about it. He was going to do it. No maybes. No hesitation. The king was putting Adam Silver on notice that he was coming for a franchise the moment his playing career wrapped up, and he started stacking the financial chips to make it real. Back in 2011, LeBron first linked up with Fenway Sports Group through a marketing deal that netted him a 2% stake in Liverpool FC. That relationship deepened over a decade, and in March of 2021, LeBron and Maverick Carter became formal partners in FSG, the first black partners in that ownership group's history. Stakes in the Boston Red Sox, stakes in Liverpool, stakes across a massive sports portfolio. FSG was supposed to be the financial backbone when Bron finally made his NBA ownership move. Fast forward to June of 2022. LeBron pulls up to his show, The Shop, uninterrupted and says it plain, he wants a team in Vegas. That was the moment the target got specific. Not just any team, not just any market, Las Vegas. Then October of 2022 rolls around. The Lakers play a preseason game in Vegas. LeBron sees the crowd, feels the energy, and after the game turns to the cameras and addresses Adam Silver directly. It's the best fan base in the world, and I would love to bring a team here at some point. I want the team here, Adam. Thank you. Thank you, Adam. That is not a player talking to his boss. That is a future owner making his opening bid on the record in front of every microphone in the building. and Silver responded. The commissioner called LeBron's ownership aspirations great for the ecosystem, said Las Vegas would make an excellent franchise location one day, and even nodded toward historical precedent with players like Shaquille O'Neal holding minority stakes in the past. The narrative was on track. Everybody in the league assumed LeBron would retire, lead a Vegas bid backed by FSG and Maverick Carter, and walk into ownership the way he walked into MVP conversations. Unavoidable. Momentum kept building. Through 2023, 2024, and 2025, LeBron reaffirmed his Vegas focus. Reports surfaced that he was putting in the work behind the scenes, and partners like Redbird Capital were floated as additional backers. The NBA Board of Governors moved closer to a formal expansion vote targeting Vegas and Seattle with a potential 2028 to 29 launch window. And then, in February of 2026, at All-Star Media Availability, Bron was asked again about his post-NBA plans. He described ownership as one of several options he could explore alongside media, philanthropy, and other business ventures. Still open, still on the table, still possible. And then the floor dropped out. Here is what nobody in LeBron's camp saw coming in full force. The NBA was no longer talking about expansion teams at $2 or $3 billion. The league was talking $7 to $10 billion per expansion team. 7 to 10. The valuations of existing franchises had gone parabolic, and any new team joining the NBA was going to pay a premium that made previous expansion fees look like Black Friday pricing. That kind of number requires a very specific kind of backer, and Fenway Sports Group, LeBron's supposed lifeline, looked at the math, looked at the return timeline, and decided not to pursue an NBA expansion team. Out. Done. Moving on. A source close to the king told The Athletic that with FSG stepping away, it is less likely LeBron will pursue a team at all. March 19th, 2026, the Lakers beat the Houston Rockets. Dan Wyke of The Athletic pulls LeBron aside and asks the question straight up. Is ownership still something you are interested in? Big picture or Vegas specific? And the king, the man who for nearly a decade had been telegraphing this dream to anyone with a microphone, looked Wyke in the eye and said, no, he is not. Not at all. Not at all. 3 words. And just like that, a 10-year storyline got buried in a hallway outside a locker room. LeBron has not walked that back. He has not softened it in subsequent interviews. He has not hinted at a reversal. When the financial runway disappeared, the dream got parked in the garage. Now let me break down the reactions, because this is where it gets layered. On X, on Reddit, on Facebook, LeBron supporters split into camps immediately. One group reads the not at all as tactical, a negotiation ploy, a smokescreen, a way of saying I am not leading the bid without shutting the door on a minority stake down the road once a team is established. Another camp sees it as pure pragmatism. LeBron's net worth sits around $1.4 billion as of early 2026. That is a massive number for a single human being, but it is not the number you need to front an $8 to $10 billion franchise bid. Without FSG, without a heavyweight backing group, the math simply does not close. Lakers supporters and Cavs supporters, meanwhile, took the news as relief. They want the king focused on basketball, or, at the very least, not rushing retirement just to chase a Vegas ownership angle. Then came the mocking contingent. Critics framed the reversal as LeBron flipping again, the same way they frame everything the man does. Clickbait content amplified the drama. Some commentators tied the shift to expansion politics. Others pointed out the obvious business savvy in not overpaying for a depreciating timeline. Cleveland area supporters noted the irony given LeBron's roots. Las Vegas locals expressed disappointment at losing a star-driven narrative that would have cranked up the hype cycle around a new franchise before any team even got approved. Stakeholder reactions came in quieter, but just as telling. Adam Silver, for his part, has not issued a direct response to LeBron's March 2026 reversal, and that silence matters. Historically, Silver endorsed former players getting into ownership groups and welcomed LeBron's public interest. But with the king stepping back, Silver's expansion process moves forward on its own timeline, and the bidding picture suddenly opens up for other heavy hitters. Magic Johnson's name gets floated. Bill Foley's name gets floated. Wealthy institutional groups get more runway without a Hall of Fame player sucking up every single headline in every bidding update. Fenway Sports Group went completely quiet on the matter publicly. No statement, no leaked memo. Their decision was driven by pure financial calculus, and FSG leadership did not see the need to add commentary on top of a business decision that already spoke for itself. League insiders and media outlets, The Athletic, ESPN, Hoops Rumors, CBS Sports, treated the whole development as a logical pullback. The analysts noted that LeBron's exit reduces the star factor in Vegas bidding hype, but does not derail expansion conversations at all. Some outlets even speculated that LeBron could revisit the idea as a minority stakeholder later, once a franchise is established, established and the entry price for a small percentage drops into a more reasonable range. The door is not slammed shut, but it is no longer propped open the way it was 3 months ago. And here is the piece nobody is saying out loud. The NBA is quietly fine with this outcome. A LeBron-led bid would have been a massive brand win for the expansion process, no question, but it also would have created a complicated power dynamic inside the ownership group. The King would have walked into the owner's box carrying more cultural weight than any single commissioner, owner, or executive in the room. Now, with FSG out and LeBron waving off the whole idea, the league gets to run its expansion play on its own terms. No legacy narratives to manage, no public pressure to carve out a sweetheart deal, just straight competitive bidding from groups ready to write 10-figure checks without flinching. LeBron's ownership chapter is not closed forever. That would be a dramatic overreach. But as of April 2026, the most consistent post-retirement storyline in his career is on hold, and the focus has snapped back hard to what he is actually doing on the hardwood in this 23rd season. And folks, that brings us to the real story of this year, the actual basketball LeBron is playing, the controversial moments stacking up, and the retirement decision hovering over every single possession on the schedule. Season 23 and the retirement decision. Now let us get to basketball, because while LeBron James is sorting out contract futures, Project B noise, and Vegas ownership reversals off the court, the man is also playing his 23rd NBA season and putting up numbers that would make most 30-year-olds jealous at age 41, turning 42 in December. Let me run through the ledger. Through roughly 60 games in 2025 to 26, LeBron is averaging 20.9 points, 6.1 rebounds, 7.2 assists, 1.2 steals, and 0.6 blocks per game in 33.2 minutes a night. Shooting splits: 51.5% from the field, 31-7 from the three-point line, 73-7 from the line. True shooting hovering right around 59%. Those are still legitimate all-star numbers. Top 10 in the entire league in assists. Efficient scoring as the clear secondary option behind Luka Doncic, who the Lakers brought in via trade to reset the franchise timeline. And the team itself finished the regular season 53-29, fourth in a loaded Western Conference, first in the Pacific Division, walking into the playoffs as a legitimate contender. Is this a championship or bust roster? That is a different conversation, but LeBron is absolutely driving winning basketball in year 23, while a new franchise cornerstone in Doncic takes the primary usage. Here is how the game has shifted. Bron is running off far fewer screens as a primary ball handler. The screen numbers are down sharply from his prior Lakers seasons. Instead, he is moving more off the ball, cutting, spotting up, playmaking from secondary positions, and picking his spots on defense. He is averaging well under the usage rate he carried even 3 years ago. The scoring is streakier. Some nights you get 28 on 16 shots. Other nights you get 10 on a quiet night, where the offense flows through Luka, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura. On the advanced metrics side, his crafted PM sits around 1.6, and his PER is hovering around 20.8. Good, not elite, absolutely justifying a rotation role and impact minutes. But the season has not been all clean. Let me walk you through the turbulence. It started before LeBron even played his first game. Bron opened the 2025-26 season sidelined with sciatica, a nerve issue that reevaluated after 3 to 4 weeks. He returned, worked back into the rotation, and acknowledged publicly what every player with his mileage eventually has to admit. He can no longer play every single game on the schedule. Load management became a real thing. Back-to-backs got monitored. The Lakers medical staff started calling shots that would have been unthinkable 3 years ago. Then came the streak, the 1,297-game double-digit scoring streak, the longest in league history by a country mile. And in the middle of this season, LeBron dropped an 8-point game. And just like that, 2+ decades of consistency wrapped up in a single evening. For most players, an 8-point night is a Tuesday. For LeBron James, that 8-point night registered as a historical moment because the streak that ended alongside it represented something no active player had ever threatened or come close to touching. The All-Star drama hit next. LeBron did not earn a starting spot in the 2026 All-Star Game, the first time in over 2 decades that he had been left out of the starting lineup, 9th in Western Conference voting, partly because the sciatica caused missed games and dropped his voting resume, partly because the current statistical line does not scream traditional All-Star starter. Some outlets ran the advanced numbers and concluded LeBron ranked as the weakest performer among selected All-Stars by certain global rating systems. Draymond Green publicly urged Adam Silver to figure it out and make sure LeBron got got on the floor somehow, via commissioner latitude or injury replacement. The whole thing became its own mini referendum on whether LeBron's streak of all-star appearances, an unbroken chain stretching back to his second season, mattered more than the current numbers on the page, than the officiating moments. Two separate high-profile plays put LeBron in hot water. In one sequence against the Phoenix Suns, Bron got into it with Dillon Brooks, and in the middle of the exchange, there was clear, forceful contact with an official. A grab on the arm, body pressure, heated words. By the letter of the rule, that level of physical contact with a referee typically triggers an automatic ejection. LeBron got nothing. A separate heated sequence in another game produced similar fireworks. Supporters and critics across social media started asking the obvious question: how does the king avoid discipline when lesser tenured players would be on the bench in the locker room for less? And then, the rule change controversy. On his own podcast, Mind the Game, LeBron floated the suggestion that the NBA should adopt FIBA rules. 40-minute games instead of 48, different goaltending mechanics, and other international style adjustments. The reaction from basketball media and fans was swift and loud. Critics framed the suggestion as LeBron trying to protect his legacy numbers or engineer the game's rules around his current physical condition. Defenders pointed out that FIBA rules have real merit, and the NBA FIBA integration is already happening through the NBA Europe project anyway. Either way, the timing, a rule tweak pitch made by a 41-year-old superstar facing retirement conversations every single day, was an easy target for the takes crowd. Now let me give you the flip side, because in between the turbulence, this season has produced some vintage LeBron moments that remind you why you have been locked in on this man's career since the high school ESPN2 broadcasts. There was a return to Cleveland that turned into a full tribute, complete with a pregame video package that left Bron visibly moved on the sideline. After the game, he talked about cherishing every matchup because it could be his last. He has repeated variations of that line all season, living in the moment, not taking anything for granted, focusing on the process. And the vintage performances keep showing up. A 19-point, 15-rebound, 10-assist triple-double against the Miami Heat. Late-season surges where the jumper falls, the passes cut through 3 defenders, and the court vision reminds you why you have been watching this man for 23 years. So what is the actual retirement conversation? LeBron has been maddeningly evasive, which is vintage LeBron. He has said the end is sooner than later. He has said a couple more years is possible if he stays in love with the game. He has said there is no farewell tour planned yet, and his most consistent line has been some version of, "When I know, you guys will know." Translation: he is not telling you until he tells you, so stop asking. Insiders continue to report that there is no early exit planned, that consensus around the league expects LeBron to play at least into the 2026-27 season, and that a celebratory send-off campaign is far more likely than a sudden retirement announcement in the middle of summer free agency. The factors in play are the ones every late career superstar has to manage. The body, which has absorbed sciatica this year. The mind, which Bron insists is still fully engaged. Family, and team success. He has explicitly said he is not waiting on his son Bryce to reach the league before making a call. He has also dismissed any frame that suggests he is ready to walk away right now. Put it all together. You have a 41-year-old averaging a 27-6 line at top 10 efficiency, while his team closes the regular season 53-29. You have a player who has admitted he cannot play every night. You have a historic streak that ended quietly, an all-star starting nod that slipped away, officiating controversies and rule change takes, and a Cleveland tribute that felt like a soft farewell without actually being one. And you have a king who keeps repeating that he will tell us when it is time, and not a moment before. The 2025-26 season absolutely feels like a last dance in Los Angeles. Tributes, load management, and retirement narratives layered on top of every single matchup. But LeBron himself has not confirmed a single thing. Meanwhile, the contract expires in the summer. The Project B operation is getting louder across the Atlantic. The Vegas ownership dream is on hold, and the King's next chapter is being written in real time while the NBA world watches every move he makes on and off the floor. Thanks for watching, folks. It's goodbye for now. But to enjoy more of such clips, click on the card showing on the screen.